at Art Storefronts. Been doing that for what, like 6, 7 years now, I think. Um, and let's go over the agenda for today. I know, I see some familiar names in here that have been on one of these sessions before, but for most of you, you're probably like, who the heck is Art Storefronts? What do these guys do? Perhaps more importantly, how the heck can they help me? So I'll cover that at a high level. What we used to do is like have this like pre-made video that we would play, but we just updated our homepage, and so I'm kind of going to go off the script a little bit, color outside the lines if you like, and I'll just kind of talk through what our whole system looks like. Everybody thinks that we're just a website company. We're quite a bit more than that. So I'll talk about that, and then love to just get into the Q&A, open it up to you guys. Any questions you might have. It could be anything about the service, the software, the pricing, the anything. But especially poignant if it's things that you're struggling with in your business, or that you're trying to get figured out, or get to the next level, or a social media problem, or anything else. So happy to answer all of those. Excited to do that. Hey Janine, good luck in your live show. Okay, so I'll start at the top. I might as well share my screen a little bit. I got to remember to do this. I got to do this here. So just bear with me for a second. So April's manning the chat, and she's going to put the link in the chat. But we literally just redid our entire homepage, and the homepage is on the blog. And so, if you've got time, it's a good thing to look through, because each one of these videos is me, essentially ranting and raving about like literally every single solitary thing that we do. But at a high level, everything that you need to start, run, and grow a successful art business is a pretty doggone accurate comparison. It's so much more than a website. Essentially, really what we do at the end of the day is we create the best set of circumstances possible. Sorry, I'm having to ad-lib here. Such that artists and photographers can be successful. Like, selfishly, our business just goes nowhere unless we have successful customers. So it puts your oar and our oar in the boat, rowing in the same direction. The better you do, the better we do, the more referrals, the more business, the more everything. So we sort of started out as a website company, and then figured out that the only thing that matters is successful customers. And so instead of solving a website problem, we worked on starting to solve all the rest of the problems. And so everybody loves talking about the website. So I'll deal with the website at a high level, kind of just quickly. And I'm on a customer site here. Without question, we believe we have the most advanced website for selling art and photography, full stop, and it's not even close. But, I don't think that's braggadocio, because there's not really anyone else that builds a solution just for artists and photographers to sell things. And we have 100 different features. I mean, the reality is to sell art and photography online, the reason so few people are usually pretty successful at it, maybe you've had a Squarespace site or a WordPress site or whatever site, right? It's not like selling everything else. There's like an insane amount of friction in the art buying process. Friction, I mean, issues that can prevent a sale from getting over the line. Let's characterize them that way. In addition to that, it's an extremely visual purchase, an extremely visual purchase. And so you add those two things up, and if your website doesn't attempt to eliminate all these friction points, as many friction points as possible, you're gonna have a very difficult time getting your sales over the line. A portfolio site just doesn't do it. A generic e-commerce site doesn't do it. And everybody thinks it's one feature. Everybody always gravitates towards like the sexier features. And so, it's sort of incumbent upon me that I'm gonna have to talk about them for a second, and I will. But the dirty little secret is it's not one feature. It's never any one feature. It's all the features working together in conjunction to try and take a visitor, potential buyer, and turn them into a buyer. And you've got little things like, you change the media type, and I went from watercolor paper to canvas, and instantaneously a customer gets a visualization exactly what canvas is. What if they don't know a single solitary thing about canvas? We've got little tooltip videos that explain exactly what it looks like, the high level things. You'd be surprised how few people know anything about the various different media types, whether it's, metal or acrylic or wood or any of the kinds. And so that's one way in which you can remove some of the friction from the process, right? Like, don't have a buyer potentially leaving because they don't have any idea what the difference between watercolor, canvas, metal, wood, acrylic is. We've got a feature like the wall preview tool, and sorry about this, saying I'm in the Christmas mode over here. And what the wall preview tool does, and April, can you please keep an eye on the waiting room thing? Let's back it up a little bit. Um, you could switch rooms, right? And yes, we have some generic rooms here. Yes, you of course can upload your own images if you like, if you want to get something a little bit sexier, a little bit modern. But what it allows you to do is step up the side of the piece, the size of the piece, and this will automatically adjust to whatever sizes that you're offering. And it gives people a perspective on what it might look like in their house, right? Like yet another way, we have the thing where you can change the wall colors. And the wall colors are all the best selling paints from Sherman Williams and Benjamin Moore. So, you're guaranteed to be able to get anybody their color. And so, again, it's one of these features that attempts to just take the friction out of the art buying process. And in this case, especially as it pertains to what's this thing going to look like on my wall. You'll see we have this button here, live preview with AR. And this is like another, I call them the sizzly feature. And I'll start this video up and get it to somewhere. But this is a real phone on the right-hand side, real website on the left-hand side. And what it allows somebody to do is they can come to your website with a cell phone, okay? Nothing else. Not download any apps, not touch anything, a cell phone. Press one button, and what it does is it leverages the phone's camera and then augmented reality. And so it takes the piece in question and it puts it in augmented reality on the cell phone. So you can have somebody that's like, that's somebody's real house, real room that they're looking to fill a piece with, and they can cycle through your pieces and see what the actual sizes are. So you can move it, step the size up and down, take a screenshot of it, do whatever you need to get people over the line on the buying features. But we have literally, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of features, and sometimes it's the little ones, like the fact that they can email a friend very quickly, and that doesn't seem like much, and some other websites have it, yes, but it's hey honey, here's what the piece is, what do you think? It's like all the features working together is what actually gets art sales over the line, and are so critically important. So it's why we do the demo process. What happens when you request a demo? One of our outreach team calls you. You can ask all your questions. They find out where you are in your business, and then they schedule the real demo, which goes like an hour, and it's a Zoom call to go through all the features because there's like literally just hundreds that are all there to sell art. So that's sort of high level on the front end of the website, but not just the front end. Like, you know, I know because I've been doing digital marketing for a long time, and I look at all our customers' data. Like, the most important thing an artist or photographer needs is more time. We all need more time, right? But especially you guys. One, you have to create, and two, you have to market. And you guys all hate marketing for the most part. Usually, I know I always get the head nods on that one. I see it, Eric. I feel you. Um, so as so if my job, okay, Art Storefront's job is to create successful art businesses, essentially. Yes, photography is art. I got to give you back as much time as possible so you could work on your biggest problem, which is marketing. So we have a whole suite of features on the website, and it's again these little things, right, that are sort of inherent to running a photography or an art business. You have to upload an image. Okay, well, you don't want to upload 75,000 different images. You want to upload one and have it automatically resized to all the various different sizes that you can offer based on the integrity of that image. And then you want to be able to toggle on and off the ones that you need to use. And so we've got features like that, very easy markups, very easy highlighting media types on, media types off. Maybe you only want that one in metal. We have a whole entire suite of features, and they're not like the sexy ones, but they're so important. They're so important because it gives you guys back time. Time is what you need more than anything else in this world. Let's talk about the print fulfillment. And everything's on the option. I realized I was on the screen share the whole time. Everything's on offer, I should say, right? Like, you have every ability imaginable. Hold on, I got to share the screen again, figure out how to do this. One, if you're an artist that just does originals, well, that one's a no-brainer, right? Obviously, you're going to be shipping and fulfilling your own work. If you have a printer you like, a local one, you can get the orders in via email, send them to your printer, have your printer ship them. That's totally okay. We call that self-fulfilled ordering. What we recommend, though, and again, because it's time, right? The whole freaking thing is time. So we integrate with two different print partners on the East Coast, on the West Coast, another one in Canada if you're in Canada, and also the merch partner in the US. And how does it work? The one on the West Coast, by the way, is Bay Photo. The one on the East Coast is a company called Graphic Dimensions. The merch company is called Guten. And we're honestly constantly looking to add more and more and more. And you integrate with the print partner, an order comes in, you get paid, printer gets paid, printer prints it, Printer slaps your logo on the side of the box and ships it. You touch nothing. Absolutely nothing. You have to do nothing. You want to send a thank you note, personal email, you can do that, but you touch nothing. And in the last, and again, printing sadly has become a commodity, right? Everyone's using the same printers. Everyone's using the same inks. Everyone's using the same media types. Everyone's using the same devices to calibrate their monitors. And so it's just not a high ROI activity for an artist or a photographer to be sending an order to the print shop, driving down there and looking at the sample, having any customer service back and forth with them, figuring out the printing and the shipping. Are you going to send the tracking order to the customer or what? What happens if there's an issue in shipping? Like, that is not what you guys need to be spending your time on. It's a waste of time. There's no ROI in it. So I'm very firm on the printing thing. Anyway, I'm done with that rant. We just recently added merch. I originally hated merch, okay? And I've totally come around on it personally. Because at the end of the day, you guys are essentially just creators, whether you use a camera, whether you use your hands in any capacity. If you have the ability to monetize your talent and put it on various different other products, we feel like that's an opportunity that we need to give you. Do you need to run any of this stuff? Absolutely not. Can you run all of it? Absolutely you can. Any combination in between. And, you know, this guy, William Stidham, I mean, I told this story in the last one, but we have this like internal channel. So any order that comes in on the website, it goes in there, and he's selling these pillows like crazy. This is like a hot Christmas gift to his list. They're $44 a piece. And so he's getting average orders of like $200 and $250 just for Christmas pillows. And he just painted the Santa for the first time like 2 weeks ago. So why shouldn't you have that opportunity to do merch, right? So you can do this on a one-off basis. You can have an individual item for any of these things. And we're constantly adding more. Greeting cards are on offer now, puzzles. We're doing koozies. We're doing masks. We're working towards nailing down 3 or 4 of the best photo books. And the great thing is you don't have to have inventory for any of this stuff, right? You don't have to have inventory. It's all print on demand. You get an order, it ships, right? And you can throw them in for various different other things too. So the merch is a great opportunity to do things. I've sort of come around on it. Yeah, I mean, somebody on Facebook is saying it's an added bonus. I agree. I mean, it's just, look, turn it on or don't turn it on. If you're more positioning yourself as an artist or photographer that just wants to go high end, fine. But you could take one individual piece of merch and one button, you click, add the image in the store and say, for 1 week, I'm going to have some fun and sell cell phone cases. Who wants a cell phone case, right? And have a promotion. Like, you should have all of those tools at your disposal and be able to do them at any point in time. We just added calendars too. And it's sort of like in the back end development. And this is kind of cool. They go onto your site, they pick the images, they build the whole thing, and it's their own calendar, a one-off, right? And you can just say what images you want available. So there's some really cool and interesting things going on there. And we sort of believe, like, again, we want to create successful artists and photographers. If that's the case, we don't care where the success comes from. I don't care if you're all merch, all originals, all prints, you got a service business on the side. Our job is to create the conditions for each and every artist to achieve as much success as possible. That's how we win. Let's talk about support. We're known for support. It's sort of one of our 2 secret sauces with the marketing, which is not to say the website's not great, but we have insane support in all the venues that you would think you need to have support, i.e., emails, phone calls, tickets. What's really interesting though is what we're doing right now, these Zoom calls. We have, I think, 15 Zoom sessions a week, and 6 of them a week are tech support. You pop on Zoom call like this. You have the ability to do a screen share. They'll look at what you're doing. They'll say, okay, here's how you fix it. Here's what we need to do, or they'll fix it for you. So, I find video to be one of the most effective ways to achieve anything. It's just really, really efficient, right? So the fact that you can pop into a Zoom 6 days a week, Saturdays included, probably going to add Sunday at a point, because a lot of our staff are willing to work on Sundays in these crazy times that we live in, and you can pop on a Zoom call, talk to a real human being. You're not searching Google or some forums or trying to figure it out on your own. We do have that kind of education stuff too, but yeah. So that's amazing. We're having such good feedback with that. We've just added support for applications that we advocate you use. And that's a crazy thing. So when you have 2 sessions a week now, Monday and Saturday, where if you're struggling with Instagram, You're struggling with Facebook, with your Facebook ads, with how to read your analytics, with how to run your email marketing, any of those types of things. We now support all of those too. You can pop in and say, hey, I'm having a problem with MailChimp. I don't understand what's going on here. I don't understand the tags. How can I do this? What is going on here? You can come right into a Zoom call and get that done. And we started running those for a month, and people are just flipping out. And I'm flipping out because, like, what company do you know that supports applications that are not even theirs? You can come in and get help for third-party applications. Insane, amazing, right? So that rounds out the support. I got to go back to my list here. Make sure that's not on screen share. So that support is awesome. I'm really fired up about it. But everything that I mentioned, the support, make sure you're not wasting any time. The printing, make sure you're not wasting any time on printing. The back-end tools, make sure you're not wasting any time. And yes, the website that'll turn visitors into buyers. All of it has a time theme. And the time theme is you need as much of it back as you can, because by and large, vast majority of, sorry, blanket statement, I've done hundreds of these, suck at marketing. You do, right? You either don't like it, don't want to do it, haven't been doing it consistently, have no idea how to do it. And, it doesn't matter if you're an artist or a photographer making $750,000 knocking on the $1 million door, or trying to break the $2,000 mark, or anything in between. You all have a marketing problem. I know this. I've been talking to my customers for years. Week in, week out, I see it. So how do we solve the marketing problem? We essentially built what's called, for lack of a better term until we come up with one, an art business university. It's like a college. That's why we charge what we charge. You pay a tuition, you come in, classes never end, the learning never stops, there's no graduates, right? And we have like sort of 4 components to it. First thing are called the playbooks, step-by-step video, audio, tactical guides on how to run the various different aspects that we're advocating that you do. How to go live on Instagram, how to run a live art show, how to execute an email marketing, how to do a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. And we walk you through step-by-step how to do every single solitary thing. It's sort of DIY at your own pace learning, right? And totally not enough in the slightest. There's like a ton of data out there about all like the course companies like Coursera and Masterclass and this and that. 30 to 35% of the people that buy one of those courses, how to run Facebook ads for artists, 30% of the people finish it. Why? Because learning in a vacuum by yourself with no help it just doesn't work for most people. Very small amount of people that actually works for. So no one ever ends up finishing those things. So we have the playbooks. Then we create this calendar, 365-day-a-year calendar that tells you what to do week in, week out. Here's when you run a sale. Here's when you do normal marketing. Here's the various different things you do. On these calendar entries, which start at beginner and go to advanced, you do the most that you can do, the most time that you have to do. If there's a playbook reference, the playbook will tell you what to do. Start your Black Friday sale. Here's the announcement, and what would be on the calendar. The email text to use, the Instagram post to use, the Instagram story post to use, what to post on your Facebook page. If you're on Pinterest, what to do on Pinterest, how to bolt on Instagram Live, Facebook Live to dovetail with what you're doing and create an omni-channel marketing moment. And again, if there's a service that we're referencing, you have a playbook that you can go and watch and do it. You have the marketing support there to help you in case you get stuck. And you're going through this calendar with 4,500 other artists and photographers, depending on how many of them follow it. And, we have people that are selling over $500,000 a year in art that follow the calendar verbatim. We have people that are just getting started and they're overwhelmed with a lot of it, but they're doing the basics and they're getting better and they're leveling up. We have some people that, they're out on their own. They sort of follow some of it, but not all of it. Totally okay. Fine by us. But I have to have an incredible guide for you, right? And you need to be knowing what you need to do. And I think, again, we've been at this for 7 years. We have 4,500 different customers. They're all over the United States, Canada, and now, in many countries all over the world. They're all in different niches and different styles, have different businesses, but I get to see all their data. I know what works. I've been looking at this data for 7 years. And so as much as it's important what the calendar tells you to do, because I know they're the high ROI things, my next biggest job is telling you all the things not to waste 1 second on, because I know they're not going to help you sell any art or photography. I've got too much data. You can't tell me, oh, I'm over here working on Pinterest. Stop that. I know it doesn't work. I'm working on SEO. Yeah, good. How's that coming for you? How much art have you sold as a result of that? I know you haven't sold any because I have the data. I know very few. So it's as important that what you work on is it is what you ignore, right? What you ignore. Hey, did you see Instagram just gave me the ability to put a store in my Instagram? Do not waste a minute on that. You want them on your website, not on Instagram, okay? Zuckerberg doesn't get to own everything. It's BS. I get fired up about that, but I'm serious. What you ignore, the stupid shiny objects that you would normally go down the rabbit hole on for 2 weeks, a month, and then quit. I just tell you no. We tell you no. We have data. If the data switches and those Instagram stores start selling a ton of art, we will come up with the best playbook you've ever seen that walks you through it, right? So, okay, playbooks, calendar, but still DIY digital education product, not enough. So we figured this one out 2 weeks before the initial pandemic hit. And again, just like this, there's Zoom calls. We take the customer base and we split it 3 ways. $2,000 of online sales and less, you're in one group. Over 2,000, you're in the next group. Over a much higher revenue threshold that we don't publish, you're in the advanced group. And we run one Zoom session per week for each group. They go anywhere from an hour and a half, sometimes all the way up to 3 hours. We talk about what's on the calendar that week, what we're working on. If there's a playbook, we go over it, and then we open it up to Q&A. And here's what I did. Here's what I'm doing. I have a question that's business or marketing related that doesn't even have anything to do with what we're teaching. Can you get the Q&A on this? And these sessions are absolutely amazing. And we have between, depending on anywhere from 250 to 500 to 750 attending each one. And the numbers fluctuate a little bit, but those are kind of like a range. And we have a way that you raise your hand, just sort of like April has her hand raised in this one, and you come on and you say, "Here's my question. Can you help me?" And it's amazing in the sense that the digital online education is not enough. And so prior to the pandemic and doing these sessions, if I had 100 customers and I said, "Guys, it's time to run our Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale. We're doing this," I would probably get 30 of them to take action when I just had the digital education piece. Now with the sessions, it's like 70. I get 70 out of 100 to actually do it because you're in a Zoom session with your peers. Everyone's talking about what they're frustrated with. Turns out what they're frustrated with is likely what you're frustrated with. It's called running a business. It's difficult. And so it ends up creating this like rising tide lifts all boats situation because we're constantly bringing people on that, had a huge success for whatever reason it is. And we're like, come on and tell us about it. I just sold $35,000 worth of art to an interior designer. What happened? I just had a live art show and I sold 15 pieces. And what's amazing is, one, you're hearing it from a peer, right? It's not some guru posting it in a Facebook group, BS, right? Like you've been seeing this person on these sessions the last 2 months. You know who they are. You have a relationship with them almost. And they're telling you how they did it. And then not just telling you how they did it. Here's what it looked like on my Facebook post. Here's what the show was. Here's where I screwed up. Here's how I could get better. And you're constantly interacting and getting these sessions on a week in, week out basis, and they will never end. It has been the biggest discovery we have ever had. They will never end for as long as this company is going on. We are essentially, everyone thinks we're a website company. We are now a retail business. And instead of a retail business open on Main Street in your town, we are a retail business that's open on Main Street, USA of the internet. And the way to think of it is we are rapidly moving to a world where we're going to be open 9 to 5 in video calls just like this 6 days a week. You can come in at any point in time, whether it's attending the session, whether it's getting the marketing support, whether it's getting just tech support, whether it's going over a playbook, whether it's getting help with your site, whatever it is, you can pop in at any point in time, meet and talk to a real human being and get going. Because again, video is just so damn efficient. It is more efficient than any other way a tech company could do business. You're face to face talking to a real human being, getting your problems sorted in a much quicker and more judicious way. You solve enough of those problems, you get people that are successful quicker, that are working on their marketing faster. So it's amazing. We also have a private Facebook group, which is cool because it's highly curated. There's no trolls in there. Everyone respects everyone. And sometimes you need some advice that doesn't come from us, right? From your peers. We have people of every niche imaginable. So the abstract people talk to the abstract people sometimes. And the ones painting dogs and photographing dogs talk to the pet people, right? And it's like, hey, what are you doing about this? What are you doing about that? So that's really cool too. As a final, probably about 4 months ago, we launched a full-blown in-house marketing agency. And, I was initially very reticent about this idea because there's this premise that like started by somebody in the 14th century where you can just be an artist and just create, and you're going to be like the court artist, and some king is going to pay for it, and you're not going to do anything else except just create, which is the biggest load of BS in the history of mankind, but it's like settled into everyone's head. Sadly, if you want a business, you're going to have to work at growing it, right? So what scared me about starting the agency is I expect all of you guys, all of our customers, to learn how to cook, right? Because that's what running a business is. Let's just say you have to learn how to cook. So you have to learn how to use a knife, okay? And you have to learn sauces, and you have to learn seasoning, and you got to learn how to use the grill, and how to use the oven and bake, and how to combine flavors, and how to buy produce, right? That's running an art business. You need to know how to do all of that. So the agency, what scared me about it is like, look, you're going to bring a bunch of people in, you're going to do the cooking for them, and that's not a good place to be. If you're running an art business and you're in this for life, which most of you guys are, it's not like you're going to change careers midstream, then you need to know the fundamental basics of running that business. Okay, so that's where the DIY, do it yourself, learn at your own pace, workshops, the Facebook group, the calendar, all of that comes in and it's there. But what about for everyone else? What about for the people that are like, I know how to cook, Patrick. I'm learning. I promise. I'm working on my marketing. But every once in a while, I just want to order takeout because I'm busy, right? Because I have a full-time job. I mean, we're probably like 80-20. We're probably 80% of our customers have full-time jobs. The art is a side hustle, or they're photographers and they have a service part of their business and they're trying to ramp up the fine art. Excuse me. And 20% are full-time artists. So you need to have products for the people that are just working all day and need a kick in the butt, right? And what are the services? It's everything from the complete website setup. You sign up, you just Dropbox a folder with the images and the titles, and they'll build the entire website for you. Um, Regular and consistent social media marketing. Little one-off a la carte things like a complete makeover on your Instagram account so it's set up for best practices, or Facebook, or helping with email marketing, or running sales campaigns, or running Facebook ads. And we have a very specific service for that. So that's been really interesting. The agency's like, I think, going on 4 months old now, and it's probably already served. I think we're probably up to like 260 or 270 individual customers. And the interesting thing about it is it's like, okay, name a marketing agency. Easy to do, even if you don't know. When you Google it, there's millions, or at least hundreds of thousands. Name an art business coach, right? There's quite a lot of those charlatans running around out there. I'm sure some of them are good. But name me a marketing agency that is only focused on selling art or photography and helping people sell art and photography. No one can seem to do that. I've had like 50 of these calls, and I've asked somebody to throw me in the name of an agency that does that. And selling art is really, really hard. It's not like everything else. You don't see a bunch of agencies that just specialize in helping artists or photographers sell their art because there's so much friction in the process. So we're uniquely positioned in the sense that it's all we do all day. We've got a ton of data, and we're really good digital marketers to begin with. So what's cool though is, and a bunch of people are asking me about price. I'll get into price in a second. You know, we charge a hefty amount of money to sign up here because we don't want people failing and washing out. We want people that are committed to their careers and really trying to grow a business and serious about it. So if your goal is success, if we were some off-the-shelf website company, sign up for free, three free months, and then pay $29.99 a month, what happens? Those people don't take their career seriously. They put the stuff up on their website. The art doesn't sell. They blame the website company. They quit. They wash out. When you're pot committed and you realize, okay, I'm really going to do this. I'm going to give this the years that it's going to take for me to grow a real business. I understand that fundamentally, as a result of COVID, yes, but it was well before COVID, that the way that art and photography is sold online and off is forever changing. So I know I need to change with it and get in the game. Can't even remember where I was going with that rant. Someone just distracted me. Oh, I know. I hate the thought of, oh yeah, so this is where I was going. We charge you a bunch of money, and then here's this agency to nickel and dime you. The greatest thing about the agency is we don't care if that thing is ever profitable. We don't care, because what happens is I get an army of people just working on Instagram for artists. I get an army of people just working on Facebook ads for artists and photographers. And so what happens is that, you know, you can only run a case study here or there if you're like a normal marketing outfit, right? But when you have an agency, you can pay to have 50 people running Facebook ads for artists and photographers on a regular basis. So what do you think happens as a result of that? We get better at it than anyone because we have more data, more niches, different types of people, men, women, this niche, that niche, in Ireland, in the US, in Canada, in Mexico, in the Philippines. So you get into those scenarios, and what happens with the learnings is they just get baked right back into the playbooks. They get baked right back into the workshop sessions, and our level of education just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And it's not an education you can get any other way else. So pretty phenomenal thing. We're really excited about seeing where it's going. But okay, I think that covers it. I think that pretty much does my rant. We'll jump right into the questions. There's a way that you can raise hands um, in Zoom, and there's like the participants window. I guess if you click on like the little people icon, it says participants. There's a dots over there, and you can raise your hands. You can see April's got hers up, and Jackie's got hers up. I don't mean the old school hand raised, but sometimes I see those too. You can put questions in the chat. I'll be happy to answer those too. And then also, we've got a bunch of people watching on Facebook, and they're leaving some questions too. So I will get into all of this. But April, you're up first. Go ahead, April.
Hey, Patrick, how are you?
Good. And I promise I'm listening. I'm just going to close my door.
You're fine. I had to unmute really quick because I had a paintbrush in my hand. Anyway, so I already have a website. My husband spent months and months and months putting it together.
Yes.
It's, great. I love it. We do fairly well on it. But how does one, if I decided to switch over, how do you switch from one platform to the other? Do you do that, or do you just start from nothing and add it in?
So
how does, you know what I mean? Because let's
yeah,
be honest, when I tell him, if I say, hey,
he's
I
going
want
to
to
kill
use
you.
another website, it's going to cause divorce because he spent so much time working on
Yeah.
it.
He's going to kill you. I know. Well, I mean, the good news is that let me answer it two ways. You have every option imaginable, right? So if your current website is aprilmiller.com, you could just do store.aprilmiller.com. That could be the art storefronts install. You could have your regular website, right? And then you could ease into it that way. Or obviously you could completely switch over. If you're doing well on the site now, and we can talk about what that looks like, the website is way more advantageous to you than you could ever imagine. And like when you go through the demo process, they really go into that and they'll explain that. But let me give you a for instance. So we have what we call Art Buyer AI. I did not come up with that title. I don't really care for it, but it's a proprietary cookie. A cookie is a way of tracking visitors. And an easy way to think of it, the way to explain it is, let's say it's a video. Your website is an Apple store, and this is a video camera in the upper right-hand corner of the Apple store watching everything that happens. And so let's say Eric comes in to the Apple store and he looks at an iPhone, and then he looks at an iPad, and then he looks at an iMac, and then he buys the iPhone and he leaves. So what Art Buyer AI does is instantaneously it sees what he just did, and it automatically populates an email for you and pops up in your back end, and it says, April, Eric just came into your store. He bought an iPhone, but he looked at the AirBook, or he looked at the MacBook Pro, and he looked at an iPad, and he didn't buy a case. And it'll automatically populate the text. It'll say, hey, Eric, thanks so much for buying that iPhone. I really appreciate it. Just to let you know, for first-time customers, we also offer cases. And then I also saw that you were interested in the laptop and the iPad. If you have any questions about those, I'd love to answer them. Or we could set up a Zoom session if you want to talk about it on video. And all you have to do is hit send, right?
The website does that?
Yeah. So we have this is the conundrum you're going to be in is yes. Okay. So you move over. There's no way you're changing the website. Your husband will kill you. I totally get that. Then, if you already have decent sales volume, that's when the website makes a big difference, right? Most people are starting in terms of digital marketing from scratch. So they don't have a ton of traffic coming in. When you have a ton of traffic is when it's a game changer, because the website will instantaneously convert more than you did. Doesn't matter how pretty it is. It just doesn't have the features that we do. That's just fact. So
can you keep the same address?
Oh yeah,
100%.
Then
I didn't quite catch that,
Yeah,
because that's my main concern.
Yeah, 100%. You keep the same address. And that is fundamental to our core. The artist owns everything. You own the domain, you own all the customer data. You're able to market to those folks in perpetuity. If anything ever goes wrong between you and us, all you do is you take your domain, you point it somewhere else, you take your email contacts, and off you go, right? That's how it should be, is the artist should own everything. So if you wanted to do it that way, April, you would, just log into your web host, point it right at your art storefront's domain, and that's it. You'd be right into the new one.
Okay. All right. So there's not going to be like a huge lag in setup or anything. And
No.
I know this is a personal thing. So I don't want to go into it too much, but I don't, I actually don't sell through my website,
Hmm.
but people go to it and then contact me directly.
Yes. Yes.
So if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally does. What are your average pieces sell for?
Um,
Ballpark
they
sign.
start at, honestly, they started about from 700 to 10,000, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like an unspoken rule. Um, in online sales in general. Now, obviously, there's exceptions. Okay, Tesla is an exception. You can buy a Tesla completely online without talking to a human being, right? Like that's not normal.
Right.
But for most other products, there's like an invisible line. It's like $1,500. Once you're over that line, it's really hard to sell without talking to somebody. People just don't fork down that amount of money, right? So
Agree.
the
Yes.
point is that like I love the consultative approach, right? I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the most important aspects of selling art. And guess what makes it so easy? Zoom, right? Or any of the
Right.
other apps, like you can jump on and talk to somebody face to face. So I think that's a tremendous part of it. And I love that you do that. I think, you know,
Well, I have yet to have one patron only buy one piece.
yeah, the
And
collectors is
I
so
think that
important.
that's a part of it is because there is that personal, talking to them and whatever moving through. I actually, when COVID hit, we took, all the stores closed, everybody went through this, all my stuff got pulled out.
Mhm.
I created a gallery in my house. So people just come to my house now instead. So there's that personal touch that I don't want to lose by going so AI.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's just a selling assistant at the end of the day, right? Like, if your funnel's that way, so we got a kid, um, I'm not gonna use his name because he gets pissed when I say the figures, but he's 27, and he sold 250,000 this year, I mean, or at least the last time I talked to him 2 weeks ago, maybe, like, right around Black Friday. And his pieces are really expensive. He's very good at like his branding and positioning. Like you'll never see his art hanging in anything but like a super sexy, modern, like crazy looking house. Um, but I think 90% of his sales are consultative, and his whole entire funnel. Like, yes, he has his art storefront site, and if he needs to use it to sell, he will. But 90% of his sales are through a funnel where he runs private Zoom chats face to face, where he has a little warehouse with his pieces set up, and he's just as long as he qualifies the buyer that has the ability, and I think his pieces start at like $8,500 and they go from there, or $7,500. He just does a face to face art show with them every single solitary
Yeah.
time. If they're qualified, he'll do it, and his goal is to set up as many of those things as he can in a weekly period. And what a great
Right.
goal to have, right? Like I believe, and maybe you've seen me do this, maybe you haven't. I'll do it for the benefit of everyone else. Best way to sell art. Trick question. In face, face to face, in person, right? No one is disputing that. No one's ever going to dispute that. You need to have a website though. Why? Because you're geographically fixed on this planet. You have to sleep, and you're incapable of having 27 conversations at a time, like a website can do, right? That many people can be on it. But where we are right now, by which I mean us in video in this Zoom call, is the fusion between the two, and it is absolutely the future. And it is the single solitary best way to sell art. And everyone thinks like one of the giant fallacies, like why there's no agencies that sell art, because you know what an agency is going to do? Give me your images, let me know what percentage off, and we're going to just whack people over the head with those. 30% off the entire collection this week only. Buy now. That's not how art is sold. Yes, sometimes, but people want to know the artist. They want to know who you
Hmm.
are. They want to
Yeah.
they want to be able to say after it's hanging on the wall, "Oh yeah, I know the artist," right? At cocktail parties when like the piece is getting complimented. So it's such a like a part of the sale that I don't know. I'm ranting on the consultative part of it, but I love that you're doing that. Great job. And you
Well,
need to
my
you need
the
to do live
problem
art
with
shows in the house.
The problem with my art, and it is a kind of a problem, is it's very tactile.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's very difficult to sell on a website.
Yep. Yep.
I've really, really struggled with that. People are concerned that, with some of the pricing, how can you spend, or how can you charge $5,000 for that? And then they come and see it and they feel it because there's a tactile issue to my paintings.
For sure.
Um, and then they're fine with the price. So I have to do in person. Even Zoom doesn't really, it helps, but it doesn't work. I have to have like, they have to come up and like touch it.
For sure.
So
To play devil's
that's,
advocate, though, guy behind me, okay,
yes, please.
the impasto that he uses on this sometimes is like that thick off the canvas. Like when he's done with the painting, it takes him like 3 to 4 months for them to cure and dry. Right now, longtime friend, longtime customer, done a ton of case studies in marketing with him. Um, yes, he's got a very big social following. I think he's not very big, but I think he's got like 30,000 on Instagram, and maybe he's got like 15,000 on Facebook, and 5,000, 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. 2 live art shows, 3 actually. The last 4 I've run with them, but the last 3 I've run with them has been old inventory. He called it his basement sale, and I think he sold 95 pieces for a little over 60,000 Canadian to complete strangers, all running live art shows on Instagram and Facebook.
Nice.
So you can do it, but
Awesome.
you know what? He's a guy that doesn't sell any prints
Oh,
because
I know I can. I
yeah,
have no doubt. I
yeah.
just need to I just need to figure it out.
That's what we teach, April. That's what we
I know
teach.
I'm not a half-ass person, so I'm really trying to figure out. I've been looking at a lot of different. I see the thousands of emails that you send to me every day.
Oh, we're the worst. We're the worst on the
You
emails.
are the worst. And
Relentless.
I always see that if you would like to unsubscribe or whatever, and I'm like, no. So I'll I'll keep I'm watching, but
Yeah. I'm sort of embarrassed by the email. I hate how much email we send, but it's sort of
it's
the
a lot.
nature. It's sort of the
But it's
nature of getting
Well, but it's
attention in today's day and
necessary,
age.
Well, you either poke and poke and poke until somebody turns around and says what, or they unfollow you. Like it's not, it's
Yeah.
their choice.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry about it. But okay, that I think that answers my question. I've taken up other people's valuable time.
Well, that's okay. That's what
So
the show is for. You find that every single solitary time, if one person's got the question, others do too. That's just how it goes.
yeah, that is, I'm sure true. I'm nervous to confront my husband though.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
As is
I
it
would
for
not. I
you?
don't want any part of that. Do not
Do
insert me in that. I don't want to be in the room. I don't tell him you heard anything from me.
do you have another consultant that works on marriage counseling?
Oh, yeah, I could use one of those too. Oh my goodness. Christmas play yesterday, my wife and I got into it. Anyway, um, we are raising prices at the end of the year. It's not a joke sales tactic. We just keep adding more value. And so
Okay,
contemplate
so
talking
talk
to
about
somebody
that.
before then, or at least looking at the demo before you make your decision. Um, no idea what to do on the husband. I
I'm
I've been in
kidding.
those positions and I totally get it.
He loves me. He'll shake his head and not talk to me for about 2 hours, and then we'll be fine. It'll be good.
Okay. Good. But yeah, we can
Uh,
definitely help you, April. No question. And
so where do
you need to be
I?
running live art shows, by which I mean like if I'm you, and I would use this as a final, you've got all the art in your house. If you've not gone live on Facebook or Instagram, use your cell phone, pick which one has the biggest audience. Say, hey guys, not much time left for Christmas. This one is going out to all of you procrastinating husbands that have waited last minute and not buy anything. I know who you are. Okay. I'm going to walk you through what I have left in inventory. All you have to do is send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, send me a text if you've got an email, and come get a Christmas present, guys. Stop procrastinating. You know your wife loves my art. I'm speaking to myself there, right? But you need.
I actually turned down a sale because a wife wanted a piece and she sent her husband and he didn't like it,
Mhm.
and it was a $3,000 piece. And I told him I wasn't going to sell it to him, and he got really mad because he didn't like it. And I'm like, I will not have a piece of my art in a home that is going to be a source of contention. I'm sorry. Your wife has 3 other pieces of mine. She will find something else that you both like. You can go on your merry way. And he goes, you have to text my wife and tell her that you wouldn't sell it to me. I'll be in the doghouse. I'm like, you're going to be in the doghouse regardless, but I will if you want me to. I
Yeah.
totally didn't sell it to him. My husband almost killed me.
I love that though. You're playing the long game. That always pays off in the end.
So tell me, and I'm sure maybe other people have this question. So from here, we've decided if we've decided, yeah, we want to go forward with this, what do I do from this Zoom call forward to, like, I don't even know where to go from here with you guys. What do I
Yeah,
do?
so we do the like request a demo. There'll be links in the chat. April will put them in there, or you can go to the website and just hit the request a demo button, fill the form out, and somebody from our outreach team will call you and take it all from there.
Okay.
It's
Sounds
really
good.
easy, and
I've
even like
well,
you'll
I
see that
did
I'm
that
I am
once
very
before.
hands off, non salesy, non pushy guy. But I
I
would
think I
say
may have actually talked to you a couple months ago.
you did.
I think so.
Yeah, well,
I've just been
you'd
meaning.
only talk
I've
to me on the Zooms because I don't get on the phones or anything else. But
Okay,
the
Mark
larger
or
point is
somebody.
you should get the entire demo of the software and see it before the year ends to make your call. Make it or don't, at least you'll see all the bells and whistles. Maybe have your husband on
Okay.
it. That might grease the skids a little bit. You never know.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks, everyone.
You're welcome.
Okay, it's gonna go Jackie, then Eric. Jackie, you're up next, and I see the questions in the chat too. I'll get to this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Pat.
Hi.
I did request a demo and talked to a salesperson who felt very high pressured me, but he never really satisfactorily answered my question. And that is, I am a fine artist. I'm a painter, plein
Mhm,
air painter. Um, but I'm starting from ground zero. I had a successful studio for a number of years,
mhm.
gave it up at the first recession, and went back to school. But I haven't really done anything since then, since I got out of school because of an extended illness. However, I'm ready to get started again.
Mhm.
So I would be starting from ground zero. But my main question is, can you address the success or the support that you offer artists that are not interested in the print part of your business or reproductions?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Just out of curiosity, why do you want to take that part of the business off the table?
It's just it's not something that I've ever, it's another, hmm, why do I want to take that? It's something that I've never been interested in before. And as a fine artist or a painter, um, my work is one of a kind. It's one of a kind. So I've just never given it any thought. It's another learning thing that
Yeah,
would
I
take
think
away from time and the time that I want to spend painting.
for sure. But I would say, again, my job, successful artists and photographers, right? In your case, a
Mhm.
successful artist. I'm asking you to get into a fight, and you're telling me I'm going to tie one arm behind my back right from the get go. Like, you should never try to outsmart your potential customers, right? And like, I'm gonna go on a quick rant here. Everyone's followers, once you get going in the marketing, are a bell
Mhm.
curve, right? And they start down here in the bell curve. The bell goes up, and the bell goes up. So the people that have no money whatsoever, right? They're never going to buy anything for you because they don't have any money, and that's okay. They're going to like and they're going to comment, and they're going to share, and they're going to respond to your emails, and they're going to be awesome. Then you have your lower class, your middle class, your upper class, and then your really high net worth individuals, right? If you just have originals, you only have one tiny little portion of that bell curve covered, right? You only have one
Mhm.
tiny portion of it covered, and it costs you absolutely nothing. And it's very, very easy to offer prints. And what happens is like you have these pieces for like, 5,000, 7,000, 2,500, 3,500. But there's people that love what you do and want to support you, but they can't afford those prices. And so you need to have something that's like 300, 400, $500. And yes, to a certain extent, the merch, but I can tell already you're not going to want the merch. But you get some of those smaller price sales in there. One, it makes the originals more expensive because there's all of these prints out there. It just raises the value of the originals, perceived or otherwise. And
Um,
two,
could
it's
I
not.
interrupt you there?
What's that?
Because I was always taught from my mentors that actually that devalues your
Yeah, that's
original
just
art. That's not true.
complete BS. Who is your mentor? Who is your mentor? Get them in this Zoom call. I want to talk to them because they don't have the sales data. They're full of it. It
Yeah.
absolutely does not. But anyway, like that's academic, right? Art
Mhm.
is arbitrarily priced. How the heck would we ever even know, right? Like,
Right.
do the Prince of Starry Night lower the price of Starry Night? I don't know, right? Like the point is it's like an impossible thing to measure. Um, but so yes, you could sell originals, and yes, that's totally fine. Your problem, your biggest problem, especially for you, is you have to start marketing. You have to get attention in today's day and age, right? So,
Right.
that's the biggest issue for you. And like if you've got the health issues behind you, and you say, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to grow a business. I'm ready to work on my marketing. It's going to be a couple years until you get that completely spun up and really kicking butt. But if you're willing to mentally commit to doing that, I think you'll have no problem at all. If you sold well in the past, that all that does is further underscore how well you can potentially do. But the world, the world's just changed, right? Like the
Yes.
galleries are not coming back. They are going to be
Oh, I
so many
understand
that are
that.
out of business. And I'm not saying they're not coming back long term. I'm looking like in the next like 12, 24, 36 months. One, all of the ones that were on, were on death's doorstep to begin with, they went out in wave two. The ones that like I had it in me to survive one round of lockdowns. Now round two is coming. They're not going to make it. And so there's going to be so few of them. It's going to be hard to get into. The galleries are going to have their pick of the litter, and they're only going to pick the ones that they think are going to sell the best, and that's it, right? So that's problematic. The
Well, I've
fairs,
already had that experience with galleries, which is
yeah,
why I'm looking for a different way, and I'm excited
yeah.
that that internet is happening for individual artists.
Yes, it's awesome. It's amazing. The fact that you got to keep 100% of the revenue, the fact that you can sell internationally. There are so many upsides to it, but anyone that tells you it's all daisies, it's all roses, right? Like it's awesome. It's amazing. The upside is incredible. It represents the least exploitative scenario that I've ever seen for artists selling art in the last years because I hate the gallery model. I hate the fine art America. You don't keep your customers. You can't market to your customers. Like the single solitary greatest way to make it, and it was sort of what April said in her call, and like the guy behind me too, he has like 25, call it like a stable of 25 that are over 10 pieces. 10 pieces of his art that own. And it's like you look at the income on that and it's like you realize your job, yes, is to do marketing, yes, to sell art, but you know what it really really is at its core? To cultivate collectors, right? Because the more collectors you have, you keep getting better, your art prices keep going up, and they just keep buying the extra prices because they love you, they're in love with your art. And so he's got guys that like every time he has a show, the collectors, if they don't buy something, they'll just commission another piece and his prices keep going up. And it's like you get a good core of those folks and you're destroying it. Okay. Well, go back to the old model. Let's say you're selling on any of the online galleries or any of the retail galleries. How do you cultivate collectors? You don't. They keep all the data. They hide it from you, right? So
Right.
super frustrating. Anyway, if you're willing to work on your marketing and you're willing to commit to it, I think it would be a very good fit for you. It's completely irrelevant whether you sell just the originals or just the prints. You just need to get attention and eyeballs, um, eyeballs to your art. That's what I'd say.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, Eric, you're up next, and then I'll get into the questions in the chat. Go ahead, Eric. Hold on. You got to unmute yourself. It's like that little mic icon bottom left. I'll let you know when you get it. Yep, got it.
Yep. Okay, good. So I'm also a painter.
Okay.
I was doing very well doing art galleries and art shows back in the 80s. But then I switched careers and I became a set designer for movies and theater.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've been doing that for the past 30 years. But now that COVID's hit, the industry, as far as theater goes, has been pretty much
Decimated.
non-existent.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So I've decided to revitalize my art career and I started painting again. I have an existing website that I added my art to it. My problem is now that I need to get some traffic and nobody knows about me.
Yes.
For years.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, do I start a new, just strictly an art website, strictly with art storefronts, let's say, leave my existing artwork on my existing website?
Yeah, you could be. I mean, the website early on is the least of your problems, right? Like you need attention, and
Right.
you're sort of in entertainment, so I'll use this analogy, and it's like attention is the currency of the land right now. Do you know who are some of the most powerful people in this country? Fair is to say, the Kardashians. The Kardashians.
Yeah.
The Kardashians.
Yeah.
Pick any one of them could start painting tomorrow,
Right.
throw it up on a website, and probably sell millions of dollars worth, right? Because they
Right.
have all the attention. It's just an attention arbitrage game. So for you, it's less about the website right out of the gates, and it's more about having the plan to start marketing yourself. But I obviously think you should get on board. You should do it because, your art career is your revitalized art career, right? Is a train you got to put on the track. It takes time. You're going to have to build email addresses. You're going to have to build Facebook followers, Instagram followers. You're going to do that consistently. And as you do, being that you had as much success as you did in the past, obviously your art is going to sell. It's not, you're much higher up on the scale in the sense that you've already validated your career, your art talent, and then some, right? You're capable of creating things that the market wants. So you just have to work on getting the attention, and that's what we teach all day, every day.
Right. Yeah, it's been 30 years. So I've been out of it for that long. And I'm starting to paint now and get an inventory of stuff. And I just opened up an Etsy shop.
Yep.
I haven't gotten any traffic through that yet. And I had a Facebook page that I did with my art, but I haven't gotten a lot of traffic with that yet. I haven't really done much marketing at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not a very tech savvy guy.
Yep.
I'm more of a creative artsy type person.
Trust me, I've never heard that before. Never heard that before. Yeah.
I know. So to navigate a lot of this marketing stuff is a little, confusing for me at the moment. So I'm just wondering, if art storefronts can help me with that, and whether it's advantageous for me to do an art storefronts website with strictly art on it, and I market it just that, as opposed to trying to market my other website, which has my theater and my movies and all that kind of stuff on it too, because it might get a little too much and too confusing.
Yeah, it might. It might not. Right? Like, the common misconception or sort of the fallacy is that you're just marketing a 2D image, right? And that people are just buying a 2D image, and they're not. They're buying what actually hangs on the wall. But the other part is, like, they want to know the artist. They want to know what you've done. They want to understand what your career is. And so, the use case that comes up in most often is like, well, I have two different niches. What should I do? Right? And it's like, look, you're the brand as much as the niche is. So throw it all in there together and see what happens. But in the short term, you don't have to answer that question. You can have the site that displays all the theater stuff and have that, and then just have a store dot for the fine art. As the fine art starts cooking up, you can start mixing some of the other stuff into the fine art site and see how it goes. If it goes well, be like, you know what, combination time. If not, you keep the two entities separate. But that's irrelevant in the short term for you. You got to just get stuck in on your marketing. That's what we teach.
Yeah, I just, a lot of people go to my website now. I just don't want them to go to the website and look at other stuff other than my art.
Yes, I understand.
Which is why I'm thinking of just doing a completely, art website.
Yes, totally understand that.
Okay. All right. So it sounds like you're saying go for it.
Yeah, we can totally help you out. I mean, the only time when I say, like, don't go for it is the aforementioned, if you're not willing to commit to the marketing, right? And you're not willing to commit to understand that you're building a brand new business again. I don't care how good you were back in the day. Like, the internet is brutal on that. The internet don't care, right? But if you're willing to commit and say, like, I'm willing to market for a couple of years to grow this into something, then yes. So that's the one condition. The other condition where I say no is if you've never sold art or photography to someone not named mother, sister, brother, family, friend, then you don't know for sure if you have a product the market wants, right? That's dangerous, because then, hey, I've got this product and I have no idea whether or not it's going to sell, and I'm going to invest a bunch of money in this program and build this big website up, and I don't even know if this thing's going to sell. Like, no, go sell it first. Find out that, like, what you have is good enough, then get going. So that's the only other time where I say, like, look, I would prefer you go and validate your art a little bit, and we have playbooks that we teach on how to do that. But you're already way past that. So yes, if you're willing to commit to do the marketing, sign up. We got you covered.
Okay. Well, I have a 3:30 demo call with Brian. So
great. He's awesome.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, I'm gonna go into the chat and clean these ones up. Lynn, I see your suggestion. I don't think it would work. Lynn made a suggestion that, like, what if there was a restaurant where art was projected onto the walls and changed every half hour or so? I mean, you could potentially try to do it. I think it's gimmicky. That just hasn't worked out yet. There's, like, the promise of having a TV mounted on the wall that rotates through an art collection has been there forever. That's never been caught on. It still hasn't caught on, right? I still think it's cool, but it just hasn't caught on yet. So I think it's a little too gimmicky. I think, it's better to have the art in real person. But I also think, the live art show is the biggest game changer that exists right now. It's selling via video. Cheryl asked, what are your feelings for artists selling their work on Fine Art America and Etsy? I don't have a problem with it. You know, if I talk to 100 different artists, maybe 1 out of 100 is seeing a decent level of success on Etsy or Fine Art America. You get lost in the shuffle. There's so many people on there. You have to have really the right product, and ultimately, they have to like you and recommend you, right? And if they do that, then maybe you get some attention. But again, you don't keep any of your customer information, so I don't like that. So what I always tell people, if they're established and they're on there and it's working well for you, absolutely keep your stuff on there. It's fantastic. But you don't do it in lieu of building your own business and working on your own business, right? You've got to work on your own business and grow your own email list and grow your own attention so that you have something. Because let's say you get on Etsy and you get on Fine Art America and you're one of the ones that's doing really well, right? Like you're making a decent living. And then all of a sudden they decide, either Etsy or Fine Art America, to do a quick little algorithm change. Boom, you're out of the top 10. You're not on the main landing page. No one can find you on there. You're lost in a sea of people. And overnight, your sales just dry up, right? It's like you were in the gallery and COVID hit. Like overnight, boom, done. So you know you're not protected against those types of situations. Yeah, I see they do it in a museum. That's okay, but I don't think it's super effective. Just personally, my own 2 cents. Yes, Chris, I see you're on a fixed income. We do offer a financing plan. The bottom line plan starts at $1,000 down, and I think $49 a month or something like that. But you'd have to ask the sales staff or the outreach staff exactly on that. Is it an extra cost? Allison's asking about the agency. Yes, the agency is, you know, a la carte, like one-off services, and yes, it's not free, of course. How about talking about how to get started with your business? That's sort of a generic question, Dave. You might need to clarify that for me. But Zephyri's asking, you know, the comment, can you validate that your art will sell? I have this analogy that I really like, and I can go into the detail with it. But let's say Eric's Eric and I are cooks, okay? And we both want to start a restaurant. And the premise is that we need to validate that our cooking will actually sell. And so the danger, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw up a business plan. I am going to go down to the bank and get a loan. I'm going to go and find a space and lease it. I'm going to develop the menus and hire the staff, and I'm going to open my doors. And I've never seen whether or not anyone wants to buy the food. Eric, on the other hand, he's going to go to Costco. He's going to buy a rolling cart. He's going to make his tacos that he specializes in. That weekend, that Monday, he's going to push them into an office building. And he's going to let that smell waft through the floors, and he's going to see if he gets people in line buying the tacos. And maybe he does, and maybe he doesn't. If he does, he knows he's got a business on his hand. If he doesn't, the next weekend, he's like, my tacos aren't a hit. Let's try my burgers. And he's going to do his burgers. And then he gets a line of people buying the burgers. And then the building owner comes down and they're like, well, you come back next week and these burgers were amazing. Well, now he knows he's got a business. He knows he's got a business. But what if I do all that? I open the restaurant and it's crickets, you know? Eric, in a weekend, figured out he had a business on his hands. Me, business plan, went to the bank, rented the building, did the decor, the menus. I spent 2 years working on something before I even realized I don't have a business. People don't like my food. So you need to sell your art. You need to attempt to sell your art first and foremost. It's critically important. You need to know that the pieces will move, right? Once you get that done, then it becomes a different situation, which is, okay, I've got to work on my marketing. That's how it goes. I feel like I've been ranting for a while now. I'm going to look on Facebook and see what other questions. Yes, Sachi is another. YouTube's platform you use. I've got that. Yeah, that's interesting. So Greg says, I've seen websites that have a live help chat utility where the business gets notified when a visitor hits the website and they can open a chat box asking if the visitor has any questions. Does your system offer that? Yes, you can bolt one of those on. The best one to use for that right now actually is Facebook Messenger, because I could go into the reasons why, but everyone has the Facebook app on their phone and no one has the chat app on their phone. And so when they come to the website and they chat you up and they leave, you're gone. They can't go anywhere. But if they come to the website, they chat you up, you weren't there to take the question, you can get back to them because you used Messenger. So yes, you can use any of those. Yes, so I'd say. And yeah, on the cost, guys, the bottom plan starts at $1,000 and I think $59 a month or $49 a month. So I don't even know what the plans are. But if you request a demo, what happens when you request a demo? Because everyone's like, I don't want to fill out a form and I don't want to be harassed. I promise we don't do any harassing. You fill out that form, someone from the outreach team calls you and you get like 10-minute call. You ask all the questions. What are the prices? What are the plans? What do you think of my art? Do you think this is a good fit? And then you schedule the demo. If it doesn't work, no worries at all. No one will ever call you or bother you again. We're not like Sharky in that department. So don't be scared of the demo thing. That's just how we do it. And yeah, that's what I'd say. So Greg, I hope that answers your question. I think Juan, that clears it up. But yeah, guys, thanks for spending time on a Wednesday and hanging out. That was fun. Good hour and 5-minute session. We run these things 3 times a week. So if you want to come back to another one, you certainly can. Love to see you. That's number 1. Number 2, we are raising prices at the end of the year. So if you feel like it's a fit, if it's not a fit, no worries. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be around. If you feel like it's a fit and you're potentially in the game, get your demo in before the new year ticks over, so you can at least see it and then make a call. But we keep adding more and more and more and more features and more and more and more support and more and more and more sessions. And I don't say that as hyperbole. Once you get in, we don't ever raise prices on you. You're in. You're locked in. You got nothing to worry about ever again. And I'm not kidding when I say, like, you know, I'm doing the stats now and I'm trying to figure out how many hours a week are we live on video, my team alone, let alone the support team. And I think it's going to get to the point where it's going to be like 50 or 60 or 70 hours a week. And I think the future of selling art and photography online is via video, what we're doing right now. It's only going to continue to grow. Every single solitary other company is figuring this out too, by the way. Direct, pop into a store, figuratively speaking, it's actually a Zoom call or whatever software you're using, and be able to interact with these people directly. Big deal. It's just a big deal. It's just really efficient. And especially in these COVID times, the future. So, all right, guys, I think we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. Really appreciated it. Eric, yep, good luck in your demo. Lynn, thanks for chiming in. See you guys hopefully on a future one. Yeah, thanks.